Malcolm and Nate just mentioned that you're practicing with a mask. What is that like, and how long do you intend to do that?
I intend to do it until we start playing games. It's something I've been doing for my conditioning, and just to be considerate of the guys, just in case guys were worried about me previously, contracting the virus, just wearing it to, be cautious and make guys feel comfortable.
Matt Van Tryon.
Malcolm, just walk me through what it was like to have the virus. What your symptoms were, what your experience was like, and just kind of what you learned from that process.
I had very mild symptoms. Had a fever and a headache, but there are people that come down with the virus and that have it way worse than I did. So I was very fortunate, very blessed. I've completely gotten over the virus. I feel great. I'm back to 100%.
Charlie Clifford.
Malcolm, when you got back in, I think 2 days in now, how do you feel? Where's your conditioning compared to where you expected it to be?
I feel really good. My conditioning is not where I want it to be, of course. It's not NBA shape, but it's actually better than I thought. I've heard a few people say that I look in more shape than they thought I would after 2-3 weeks sitting down. So I'm happy where I'm at. I'm not satisfied, and I'm pushing myself every day in practice. My teammates are pushing me, so I'll definitely be in shape by the time games start.
Pacers.com, Weaver, Greg.
And Malcolm, we know that Nate had a screening of 13th last night for the team, and it seems like there have been a lot of conversations about racial injustice. What's that been like, and how positive has it been to have those conversations as a team?
It's been great. I think that's the point of all these protests, everything that's going on, is to make the country better, for people to see the humanity in the Black community and Black people specifically. And to stop discrimination, to stop all the racial profiling, to stop all these things that are going on, and then to actually change the system. There's still people. Breonna Taylor was killed in her bed. She was killed in her apartment by cops, and they're still running free. So there are people that still haven't been brought to justice, that need to be brought to justice. And for me, I'm going to continue to push that point, send that message. Every time I'm in an interview, every time I get an opportunity, people are going to hear about this. People are going to, continue to understand, continue to remember, and have to reflect on what's actually going on outside of basketball.
Scott Agnes.
Hey, Malcolm, have you been able to establish your new routine, your daily routine down there? And thus far for you, what has campus been like? Yeah,
practice is at a different time every day. Some days it's at 9 o'clock, some days it's at 10, some days it's at 3. So you got to plan accordingly and adjust. But I know what I'm gonna do every day. I know, you can't have a steady routine because practice changes, but you can know today I'm gonna lift, today I'm gonna get my core work in, today I'm gonna get a massage. I always have a routine, and that's what gives me my confidence.
Mike Merritt.
Malcolm, you were just talking about the routine there. How long do you think it's going to take this team to get back into a routine and redevelop that chemistry?
I think really only time will tell. I don't think anybody knows the specific answer to that. For me as a point guard, it's about making sure everybody's on the same page, mentally and physically. Make sure we all have one goal in mind. We don't have any selfish guys. We got guys that want to win, that have had a collective mindset all year. And I expect us to come back into this bubble and finishing the season with that type of focus that we've had.
J. Michael.
Hi, Malcolm. Given that you came off when this layoff happened, you were injured, plus the COVID on top, so you have I guess 2 things working against you trying to get back. Do you feel like as you guys restart that, are you guys going to have to kind of parse out your minutes? Is it going to be a progression for you in terms of easing you back, maybe bringing you off the bench? Have you guys even thought of that or talked about maybe limitations or restrictions in terms of your play?
I think that's something for me and coach to discuss. I think definitely in his mindset and in my mind, I think that's the best thing. is for me to work my way back in, especially with scrimmages. We have 3 scrimmages, so it's not going to be a thing where I play 30, 35 minutes. I'm definitely going to work my minutes up, sort of get back into it, allow my body to adjust to that game routine, that game play. So, it's definitely something we're going to be smart with.
Eric Woodyard?
Hey, what's up, Malcolm? How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
Obviously, man, you've been through injuries, so you understand as a player, sometimes you can be medically cleared and, still not be 100% in your mind. How has it been for you to watch Vic, mull over the decision? Have you talked to him at all? What's your thoughts on, what he's going through right now?
Yeah, man, it's tough. When you have an injury like that, a lot of people don't come back from those type of injuries. And he's a guy, he has his PT. He's working extremely hard every day. He's here early. He stays late, just working on his body, making sure he's healthy and that quad is feeling good. So it's hard, man, trying to come back from an injury, but also coming into the playoffs. And your team, your team needs you, but you also have to do what's best for your body and make sure you have longevity in this league. Vic is a vet and a former All-Star, so he's going to make the best decision. I want him to make the best decision for himself, first and foremost, and then, whatever the team needs after he looks after himself.
Kristen Airy.
Malcolm, Nate talked about Miles and how well he's played here during the early parts of this camp, and he was playing really well when the season ended in March. Talk about what you've seen from him, and is there anybody that has surprised you with how well they've adapted coming back the last 3 or 4 practices?
Man, Miles looks really, he looks as good as he's ever looked since I've been here. Shooting the ball extremely well, playing with confidence. When Miles has confidence, when he goes out there and decides what he's going to do, no one actually is stopping him. He's talented, he's versatile, and can score inside out. So he's looked very, very good. TJ Warren has been shooting the ball really well. I'd say that, shooting it really well. But overall, I think our team has really surprised me. It's actually shocked me how well a shape everybody's come back. Pick up and getting up and down 5-on-5 has actually looked very good. It's not as sloppy as, I'm sure, some other teams may look because guys may not be in shape.
Bob Kravitz.
Hey, Malcolm, what is life in the bubble like? In what ways has it exceeded expectations, and in what ways has it fallen short of expectations?
For me, I think it's exceeded expectations. We're still in basically the first, second week, so things are still fresh. You're still trying to figure out the bubble, find your way around. But, I've told other people, there are people here working extremely hard to make this as comfortable for the NBA players as possible. So it's not my job to complain or, insult food or do anything like that. The food has been good. The food has been enough. We just got to be grateful. There are a lot of people right now outside of this bubble that are struggling. So we need to keep that in mind and, keep pushing the message for the Black community while we're in here, and then play basketball.
We got time for a few follow-ups. Mark, you can start.
Yeah, Malcolm, this intended starting lineup for this group barely got a chance to play together during the season to this point, just a handful of games, really, because Vic was out, you were out, so on and so forth. How important is it that you guys get some time together during this period, if Vic plays, of course, to develop some chemistry?
It's definitely important. Chemistry is everything in this league. Everybody has talent, but it's the teams that play really well together that win games and win in the postseason. So it's going to be important for us to get these reps on the court, these practices, these scrimmages, and then we're gonna have to figure it out when the games start. Like I said earlier, I think we have guys that are low ego, low maintenance, want to win collectively, and that's our advantage.
Scott Eggers.
Malcolm, did you choose to have a name on the back of your jersey? And in general, I'm curious what your thoughts are about that and whether the execution, how you thought the execution in general has gone across the league.
Yeah, I did. I do have a name on the back of my jersey. I'm not going to say what it is, but I do have a name. I thought that was something that was very important to me personally. It was a very tricky process. Being on the executive committee, you get to see the ins and outs of the negotiations at the table with the NBA. And, there's a lot of push on both sides. The players want one thing, the NBA wants something else. We had to come to an agreement. Whether or not you like it, it is what it is at this point.
J. Michael.
Hey, Malcolm, getting back to what you said about you were going to complain about the food or accommodations, has there been any talk after the first few days when some guys did amongst players about being cognizant and aware of that perception and what was happening outside the bubble? Is that something you guys have had to put together collectively and discuss?
You know, that's something I've discussed with a few guys, and the guys I've talked to about it have the same outlook, perspective as I do, guys on my team, guys on other teams. I just don't want people outside of the bubble, fans, people looking at us to get the interpretation that all of us feel as though our experience in the food is inadequate, because it's not. I mean, you heard John Morant, one of the youngest guys in the league, had, I think, one of the most mature approaches and responses to someone asking him a question about the food and the experience here. So I think that's the approach that, we need to all take and understand that people that are working, a lot of minorities, I'm sure there are a lot of Latinos and Black people working to prepare the food and to do these hard tasks inside the bubble that are risking their health as well. So we need to understand that and have some perspective.
Eric, you're up.
Hey, Malcolm, not really so much about your current team, but your former team, the Milwaukee Bucks, man. Not sure how much you follow them at all, but, one of your former teammates, Eric Bledsoe, as this game becomes so mental at this point with basketball going pretty much straight to the playoffs, no fans, for him, what have you saw from him? How could something like no fans or something, how's his mental, set up to handle something like this from the time that you played with him, Eric Bledsoe?
Bled is a competitor. That's Bled's edge. He's a great athlete. He's a great player, but he's a competitor, man. He's going to compete regardless. He's hungry on both sides of the ball, so he's going to be fine.
Bob, go ahead, please.
I'm good, thank you.
J. Michael, do you have another one?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Mark, your hand's up. Do you have another one?
Yeah, thank you. Malcolm, with all the emphasis on social distancing, are the players kind of making it a point to not be so physically interactive, slapping hands, slapping butts, high fives, chest bumps, those type of things? Are players more cognizant of that and trying to avoid that more?
For sure. It's a lot more fist bumps. People aren't really dapping up. People aren't really shaking hands. People are definitely cognizant of that. And I think where guys are being very responsible in the bubble. Everybody has their mask on outside, even, a lot of the time. I'm not sure if that's the rule you have to have it on outside, but guys have their mask on. And guys are following the protocol and taking it serious.